The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the Nikki Glaser Podcast. I'm Nikki Glaser. I am in St. Louis, Missouri, alone. Well, my dog's in the room, but I'm back home in my home studio. Good to be back. Brian is in Los Angeles. What's up, Brian?
Yeah, what's up? I'm in my home studio with my dog as well.
Yes. Oh my God. Dog life is so good. They're so
you're loving
lovely.
the dog. You like being back in the dog life.
I mean, she didn't recognize me because honestly, I had her for I think 4 weeks before I left for Europe, and then she was with her dog sitter for 2.5, which is like the same amount of time. So I think she just thought that was her new owner, and she was probably sad to see her go. But then Chris was with her a couple days before I got home, but I got home yesterday and she barked at me at first and was alarmed. But I had sunglasses on, so maybe she's not a fan of the podcast. She's not used to seeing me like that. She doesn't watch our YouTube channel. And so half my face was covered. But
she's more of a Tiger Belly fan, I think.
Yeah. And so she would be a Tiger Belly fan because she just loves, the word just belly is like very crucial to her. She's so cute and I love her, but she barked at me at first and then
wow.
And I didn't take it offensively. Like, that's the thing, animals can do no harm to me. Like, they can do whatever they want and I'll never take anything personally or be like, she doesn't like me anymore. I'm just like, you be you, girl. I don't care. Like, like people sometimes ask why my parents have my old dogs, Luigi and Marion, and the reason that I didn't take them back from them because I gave them to them because I was living in New York and it just made living there. Oh, I forgot to turn off the AC, so I'm sorry if you guys hear that. It's just too hot not to, is what I'm gonna say, even though it's not true. But it sounds like it could be anywhere in the country. It was yesterday, but now it's not too hot. I'm too lazy to do it. And I think it's for the best that I don't, because I'm just feeling really lazy right now.
Yeah, you're hot and bothered.
Yeah. And so I gave my dogs to my parents because I was in a 4-floor walk up and it just became like brutal to walk them up and down. And they didn't like the stairs and they don't like shitting on the sidewalk. And so I was like, I just want them to have a better life, even though I love them. And it made my life a hell of a lot better too. So we both benefited from it. But then when I moved back to St. Louis and I was able to actually have a dog again, first of all, my parents didn't want to give Marion back because they love her so much. And Luigi, they would have given back, but Luigi really liked living there. And he's also too big to travel now because he's just a chonker. He got too big and I can't carry that thing around. And he has a better life with them and he doesn't like leaving them. And one time, he would do little sleepovers with me for the past couple of years where I would just borrow him for a couple of days and we'd just hang out like we used to, when I was his owner. And one night he was coming over for a sleepover, which he did not ask to do. And I'm just like, get in the car. And he gets in the car reluctantly. And then I just open the door and I go, do you want to go back? And he just instantly juts out. And I just called my parents. I'm like, Luigi's at the door. He's back. And they're like, oh, take him. And I'm like, no, he wanted to be with you. And I'm not hurt by it. I just want him to have a good life. So yesterday when she barked at me, I'm glad there was no part of me that was like, she doesn't remember me. Because all it takes to get a dog to love you is just hang out with them for a day and feed them and give them snuggles. And then I'll be her number one. Whoever is giving her the most attention is her number one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, over time, that'll get harder. It'll take longer than a day over time, I think. If you own this dog for years and years and establish this connection.
I want her to be a transient pup that's just hoard around. Because that's what she is right now. She
some dogs are like that.
Know what's going on.
When I was picking out dogs to foster, and then eventually I got Jack, I remember one of the dogs I walked around, this man was holding the dog and he's like, you want to try walking this dog around? And I was like, sure. He handed me the dog and the dog didn't even notice that someone else was walking him. Yeah. There was no difference. He could have handed the dog off to Hitler and he would have been totally fine with it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to foster a dog that I'll foster a dog
about you.
But I don't want to adopt a dog who doesn't even notice that you're a person. No,
the thing is, my dog is not totally just I've been tossed around so much that I'm just numb to any new person. She just likes everyone. And I love it because she's just going to have a ton of people who she's always excited to see when she does get to see them. Her sitter who she had for was with her 2.5 weeks, cried when she dropped her off because she was going to miss her so much. And she's been texting us being like, can you send pictures of the dog? And I'm like, wait, who's sitting for who? She's like requesting footage to make sure she's okay. I'm like, yeah. So this weekend, like I'm out of town in Vegas and I don't want to bring her because it's just too hard to be in a hotel and on the strip walking a dog and it's hot. And so, and then Chris is trying to get work done here. So I was like, let's give Gracie a couple days with the dog and get the dog sitter back in here because she like is constantly, she's like, I miss her so much. So it's like now she has a bunch of people who love her. It's so nice.
That's very good. I bought Jack to Vegas when we went there for the Super Bowl. And I have to say, there's no place... Right. There is no place in this country that's worse to bring a dog than a Vegas hotel because it takes like 45 minutes to leave the hotel so that they can piss.
Yeah. It's not ideal. You'd probably have to carry Jack through. Did you carry him most of the time?
No, I walked him. I mean, he could do that walk.
Oh, he can.
It takes forever, and it's like if I want to walk the dog, I mean, 4 times a day or something. I can't take an hour every single time.
Well, that's the thing with my building is like that's why suddenly I'm looking at houses because I have never cared about having a house until I had a dog, and I'm like, oh, every time this dog has to pee, I have to walk down a hallway and then go down I think I've talked about it before, an elevator, and then go outside, and it's like if I could just. The difference between having a dog when you have a yard and having a dog and not a yard is a really big difference, y'all.
Yes.
I didn't even think about it, but it is a big difference. Like you just open the door and your dog goes out in the backyard. That's amazing. And yes, they need exercise and you should, but a lot of you don't do it as much as you should with walks because you don't have to because they do have a yard that you can convince yourself they can run around in. The great thing with her is that I can get her tuckered out within 5 minutes, like full blown. Like if you had a dog like a Weimaraner or something, you would have to go run this thing in the park. And I guess throwing the ball, having a dog that plays fetch is so great because you can tucker them out so quickly. But you have to teach a dog how to play fetch. We play a game called Hall Ball where I throw it down like the hallway and she runs so hard. I have to do it like 5 times. Her legs are so tiny and she's dead. And then she has to go sleep for 5 hours. It's great. So maybe I don't need a yard and a house, but I was looking up apartments Friday night or Saturday night when the assassination attempt broke. I immediately texted Chris and was like, let's get an apartment in Amsterdam. Let's move to Amsterdam. I'm serious. I'm not joking about it anymore. I'm literally looking at property. I want to have like a small place that's just a getaway. Literally to get away, not just like a little beachy getaway. No, like I need to escape. So
you can and you should, and it's not just for the escape, but it's like if you can, why not?
Yeah, and I loved Amsterdam so much when I was there for Anna's tour. I was like just obsessed with that town, and I found this cafe with this food that I just can't stop thinking about. I talked about it already, but I can't stop thinking about Amsterdam, and so I was like, yes, a reason to go. Yeah. Not that. You can never escape anything that's happening right now globally with the weather and everything, but it seems like a pretty good place to like die.
Sure. I mean, there's lots of places that are great to die. But it feels like this is like a full character arc for you. Like you've gone through a transformation. Because I recall before you went on your European tour, you were like, why leave the country? I don't want to speak different languages. I don't want to experience these cultures.
I know.
And now you're like, wouldn't it be nice to have a little getaway at Amsterdam
where I don't have to do work and could I retire if I just live the opposite in Amsterdam?
Wow. Yeah, this is all a big change.
Well, because vacation rules. And if you don't take one, you never know how good it can be. And so you just are addicted to work. But people who are addicted to work don't take vacations because if they really let themselves do it, they'd realize how fucking sweet it is not to work. I loved it. I think it's probably me picturing Amsterdam like this place where I just don't have to do anything today and I just walk around and tonight I get to go see Taylor Swift. Like that was my life there. But I just liked the weather. I know I was there for a really nice time of year. I liked the vibe. I liked the smell of the air. I liked the vibe of the people that were not judgmental but not overly excited. I just liked it. And I'm like, could I be famous in Amsterdam? Like my parents have a friend who's a musician who claimed only to be famous in Holland. Like he can go over to Holland and he like cannot get around. Wow. And so I was like, can I do that? I was almost going to say his name. And then I was like, no, I'll have to take it out because I'll be worried he sees it and it's going to be a whole thing. But yeah, I was wondering what I could do over at Amsterdam. And then I was like, wait, I looked up like, what's it like to be an American in Amsterdam? I'm not even joking. I was like, I want to eventually have a plan to move there. Sure. And So on Reddit, I found this thing about, someone was like, I'm moving to Amsterdam from the States. Can people tell me like what's the biggest differences, culture shocks? And the only one that stood out to me was that shops and restaurants close at 5.
5?
And stores. Yeah.
What?
Nothing's
What about dinner?
open. Well, there's one night a week where it's called like Nocturnal, and they're open till 8, and it's one night a
Cirque
week.
du Soleil? Jesus Christ.
I swear to God.
8?
Yeah, and so that would kind of bum me out. But
What do they do? What do they do? Do they just go to sleep?
The taste of Starbucks over there. I don't know. I don't know.
How do
what
they
do.
eat? I mean, obviously you can cook, but like every single night, 5 o'clock, it's all shut down. Like, what if you work?
I think everyone doesn't work. Everyone just cooks.
Nobody in Amsterdam works. They all just cook.
And then dates. I guess if you're dating at night, where would you go? I guess bars are open, maybe.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know.
That's
That was the
insane.
one thing that I was like, I don't know if I could do that. But I really did love this one word I came across in Amsterdam, and I want to try to figure out what it is. It was like they have a lot of like bing ding dangs in there. Like they'll just throw the word ding bing dang. Like those ding bing and dang are all over. What's the
lexicon?
No, what's the language called?
Dutch?
Dutch. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm really bad with languages and like countries. I'm really like, I show how stupid I am when I start talking like that. I literally thought this was embarrassing.
Oh, no.
I thought I almost translated in front of someone who was in Switzerland, but I just thought Zurich was in Sweden. I just thought I stopped at the SW and I just committed to it. And I was translating things to Swedish to like communicate there. And luckily I never said anything to anyone, but I definitely looked up urinary tract infection to take to a pharmacy and like was in Swedish. So I would have said in Swedish to someone that I should have been speaking to in Swiss German. All of a sudden we're 2 nights into Zurich and I'm like, this whole menu's in German. Like this looks like, I go, Swedish looks like German. What an idiot. Okay,
But you
so
kind of
anyway,
look Swedish. If you started speaking in Swedish, they would have been like, oh,
Okay.
she's from Sweden.
okay, literally, this is the word, Brian. Are you ready? Because I
don't
only
even
know this
know.
word because I was trying to find the entrance to the Eras tour. And so it was like
Yes.
on my ticket, it said entrance B. So I'm looking for this word. And I did not confirm then that it was entrance, but I'm glad because I just looked up entrance Dutch and here it is. Hoofdingang. Hoof. Okay, think of seeing this word gigantic. Hoofdingang B. It sounds like a horse gangbang. Hoofdingang. It sounds like a
It doesn't even sound like a made-up language. It sounds like a made-up language, like if you're thinking about like Elvish or something in a fantasy novel, it kind of makes sense. Hoofdingang.
I wanted to
can't
ask someone
believe
how
it.
to pronounce it. I mean, I guess I could look it
What
up.
a
But
silly,
it was,
unserious
what a silly
language.
word. And it made me go like, maybe I want to learn this language because it's so funny.
Yeah.
But I could not believe that they had signs that were literally that said Hoofdingang, and everyone was just like, yeah, go to Hoofdingang. Like that's,
I mean-
I'm sure there's English words that make them go, what are you saying? But that
Yeah.
one really got me.
No, we're
Ugh.
culturally insensitive here, but I do think if the language is already that ridiculous, I can't imagine doing comedy in Dutch. Every single word you
yeah.
say is nonsense.
I really feel like the Dutch people, I remember I performed in Amsterdam, so I can't remember what the reception was like. I would remember if it was horrible, so I'm sure it was just like fine. But or it could be really good. I tend to not remember great and fine. I only remember horrible. But I would have expected them to just be like kind of like, that's funny, I guess. Like polite, but not like laughing like ha 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 Hoofdingang. Like I wouldn't, as what I know about the Dutch people, they're just smilers. And I like that. Like I dig that vibe. But yeah, what was your initial reaction on Saturday night?
Oh wow, switching gears
Without
that fast.
getting too honest.
Let's talk about it honestly and cut it.
All right. Well, welcome back to the show because we got off on a tangent and I know it just like cut out there, but you can only imagine the things that we were saying and discussing regarding just the news of the weekend. And when I say the news of the weekend, we got our facts straight. Now we really have true opinions about the girl who sang the national anthem last night. And that's what we're going to talk about when we get back from break. We're back. My dog's going crazy. She doesn't understand that I'm recording a podcast right now and I'm not in the mood to play. But did you hear the national anthem last night from that girl?
So I didn't hear it. That was the only thing I didn't see. Can you give me the lowdown?
Yeah, Olivia, can you play it for us? So I only heard about it because I opened my phone and it was everywhere immediately last night. And as someone who sang the national anthem at a parade, publicly, it's a very hard song, and I didn't really do that well at it at all. Like, I'd give myself maybe a D plus, like not good, but I got asked to do it, and it wasn't that big of a deal. So, and I didn't think it was going to exist anywhere, and I think it probably does, but like, I don't, I'd like it. You learn from these things. It wasn't on this scale, and also I'm not a professional singer, so if I sounded like a D is really moves up to a B for the learning curve for me, because no one expects me to be any good. This girl's a professional singer, and all I can feel for her is I feel sad and embarrassed, and I'm sorry for her. Talk about sympathy.
Wait, I don't even know where this was. Where was this?
It was at the like home run derby. What do they do? Like they do some kind of like
derby.
Is it that? I think it was that.
Home run derby was yesterday.
But it was
the
a
All-Star
big
break in MLB.
Yeah, it was a big event. I mean, it was a huge baseball stadium, and it was not good in a way that's so like I don't know that I've ever sounded this bad, and this girl's a professional singer, so I don't know what happened, and apparently she's messing with her in-ears during it. I don't even know if I can watch it.
Is she a professional singer and like she's a pop star, or what is she?
Like she's like a burgeoning country star, I think.
Okay.
Ingrid Andress.
Okay.
4-time Grammy nominee. By the way, 4-time Grammy nominee, it says.
Yeah.
What's happening? I gotta look this girl up. Okay, let's listen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming?
Okay.
Who
She almost
bailed.
just bailed. I like that.
Bright stars through the perilous
She's just
fight.
nervous. I can hear it.
Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly straight.
Poor thing.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
She doesn't look like she knows.
That's
It's
the
not
question
going
I
well.
have.
Land of the free.
Someone said there was an instant meme that said this was a rough weekend for America's ears. She looks like a Heidi Gardner character. She looks like Heidi Gardner.
It's almost like it got so bad at the end. It almost felt like she was doing it on purpose for comedy.
Honestly, I think that's the track she should go in.
She
I
should.
looked her up. She's, a 4-time Grammy winning artist.
Grammy for comedy album?
She's born in 1991. She's 32. Her breakthrough single,
Wow.
More Hearts Than Mine, peaked at number 30 on the Billboard. Okay, we got to listen to More Hearts Than Mine. You know what? It doesn't matter because you can sound good in a recording studio. Her single, The Stranger, peaked at number 49 on Country Airplay. She's released 2 albums. She has also co-written songs for Charlie XCX. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Grew up in Michigan. Okay, she's been on the show Perfect Pitch or something. Pitch Slapped. No, she was in a group called Pitch Slapped on the NBC singing competition, The Sing Off, which is like an a cappella show. Do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
So she is a history of singing.
Yeah.
But I decided when I was listening, okay, she's nervous and she's tensing up, and like it is like I've talked about it on the show. Unless you're relaxed, like you cannot sing. And if you're nervous, but also the echoes coming back to her. But then I saw her and she looked very
oblivious.
relaxed.
She looked like she was enjoying the, you know what? She was doing a lot of these like flourishes and she has that weird like Bjork style voice where she's like not really using like a human accent or whatever that is.
I think, yeah, where she changes like the wording of certain
and I
things.
feel like that's happening a lot now with like younger singers or something, where I'm just hearing in like pop songs, like people are doing like little baby voices or something. I don't know what to call it, but it's a very
it's been happening
strange.
for a while.
What is that and why? And is that good?
It just is easier to sound like this and sing like this. And
Like instead of saying like I went to the store. It's like, yeah, or it's like stir.
Well, it does help with singing to change the way you say some words. Like Justin Timberlake kind of got poked fun at for it, but you shouldn't have noticed. It's gonna be May. May is easier to say than me. Like singing me is not easy. So most people, when they say me, when you hear me in a song, they're saying May. But
wait,
his
I
just
thought it
sounded
was
very,
It's Gonna Be May. I thought
No,
it's
It's
like
Gonna
a
Be
song
Me.
about the months. That's about him?
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Related to Ingrid, 2 minutes ago she posted that she was drunk last night, apologizes, and she's going to rehab.
Oh,
She's going to what?
Rehab.
Oh.
Rehab. Yeah. It just notified. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's an interesting angle to go. I think I don't really believe her.
I would, if whoever in her PR team came up with that one, give me a call,
Good
because
for you,
I want
yeah.
that person in my corner when shit hits the fan, because that is good. That's
this is going to be a huge positive for her now. Instead of being like, you're the worst singer in the world, it's like she's suffering and she now has admitted her addiction and now she's going to go try to fix it.
And you
I still
can't
think she
make
could have
fun
gone.
of an addiction.
No.
You can make fun of an addiction.
No.
But she was wasted. I don't know that she was. She didn't seem. But
Well,
but that might explain the relaxation. That might explain
Yeah.
the crazy. She loses, I think, 2 notes in. She goes her own way, and then everyone's going like, "Why is she doing all these like land of the free, like those little things?" It's because she already practiced it that way. That's why she didn't abandon those. Like,
Yeah.
she just had to do them. This is going to be very
Excellent
interesting.
out.
This is
Yeah.
the Huck girl needs to move to the side, and this is our new queen.
This is it. I mean, Hawk Tua is doing all right, by the way. You're going to like this, actually. Did you see what Hawk Tua posted this week?
No.
So Hawk Tua is now getting a lot of pushback because, she's getting 15 minutes of fame, and now people are like, she's not anything. Why is this girl who spit on a dick like going to be
People are so
famous now?
jealous.
And she is now owning the idea that she only has 15 minutes of fame. And she made a video where she said, people are telling me I only have 15 minutes of fame, and so I'm going to take that 15 minutes and do something good. And then she goes to a PetSmart and she buys $60,000 worth of pet food and pet supplies, and then she goes to her local animal shelter in Nashville and she donates it all to the animal shelter and uses this as a platform to get dogs and cats adopted.
Okay. Couple things.
What?
Number one that I don't like, PetSmart. I got a problem with pets. PetSmart is not they don't care about animals. They're there to make a profit. They really don't. They throw goldfish out in the trash still alive. They do that with lizards. They do it with hamsters. It's well documented. They don't give a fuck about animals. You should not shop at PetSmart if you can avoid it. I know that there's so many things in the world that it's like, I've had to do it sometimes too. There's just no other place to go to get the dog food and you need it. But I think PetSmart was in on this. It's great. Again, another great PR move. I want whoever is on her team on my team. I have a great team, but I mean, like, I think, like, yes, these are people that I would employ.
You'd fire your regular team if you could have 1
It's a
minute
good
with the
thing
other
to do. Go, okay, let's spin this 15 minutes. Now, what can you do? And everyone like really is on your side, because now they're not on your side because you made a dirty joke and everyone's intrigued by you. And what this is like when people go like, oh, this is where our culture's at. The Huck Tua girl's famous. I'm like, it's the same when someone complains that there's traffic. I'm like, you're a part of it.
Yeah.
You are making this traffic. You watched the video. You know you liked it.
Yeah.
And you like, it's just, when someone goes like, it's so crowded here. I'm like, but you're here too. So you're part of it's dumb to complain. It's like when people get mad about it. I understand commenting and being like, God, it sucks that it's crowded. But like to be like, what are all these people doing here?
Yeah. Well, I think that
can't talk.
sometimes when I'm driving down the street and I see all the cars driving in the opposite
Yeah.
direction, and I'm like, where the fuck are all these people
I think
going?
that sometimes too. Yes, I do wonder, like, where everyone is going. I wish I like could have random information about people's.
Oh my God, I would love
lives.
that. If you could just scan a card and it's like, I'm going to the beach and I am with my sister. I'd
The
be like,
NSA
great.
is probably doing that. They're like, what would it be like to know everything about every person? Like, wouldn't
That's
you like
probably
to know
why it started.
who, when everyone lost their virginity, and they like have that now?
Yeah. I mean, I now the assumption is whenever I'm looking at the cars driving by and when I'm like, where the fuck that they're going,
Yeah.
I honestly, what I'm thinking is they don't need to be going there. I automatically think they don't need to. Wherever they're going, it's not important. It doesn't matter. Meanwhile, I'm like driving to like get a candy or something. And I'm like, what are these people doing?
I never think about other drivers. Like, I don't get mad at drivers almost ever. Do you often get mad at drivers?
I'm not mad at them. I think I'm just like, I'm not mad at the people driving. I'm just like, why are you even trying to go where you're trying to go? I just
Yeah.
assume everyone's doing something unimportant when they're probably all like
Interesting.
registered nurses going to the hospital. And I'm just like, what are you even doing right
I often
now?
have that thing called sonder, where you like realize
Oh.
other people have deep internal lives, just as deep and interesting and complex as your own. Where you have
Yeah.
that moment where you go like, oh my God, every single person. But I don't think they all do. You know, I think some people kind of are just like, duh, like their brains aren't doing much. They're not like struggling with things. And
I think it's about half. I think about half the people are just like, I just don't even. Have you ever heard someone say like, I don't really have any thoughts. I don't really think about. Have you ever heard someone say something like that?
no, I don't think so.
Like if you said, what do you think about this person
outside of
with
like
the
a
national
Larry
anthem?
David conversation on his show. Like I feel like that's the kind of thing someone would say on that show. And you go, what do you mean that you don't have thoughts?
Yeah.
No, I've never heard that.
I think there are some people who go through their day and they're not really thinking about much.
Well, I do agree with that, but I know that I've ever heard someone say I don't think about much. Like, yeah,
Like if you
maybe.
ask someone, what do you think about this national anthem? And then they'll go, I don't know. I didn't really think about
Yeah,
it.
just people that don't seem to have much of an opinion and don't seem to like, I just don't really meddle in those kinds of things. Or like, I go, what are you talking about?
But
yeah,
you
it was
need
like,
those people for a functioning society.
Yeah. Well, I really, I was on this track of like not talking shit about anyone or not gossiping or just not just saying things about people that I wouldn't say to their face for a while, or at least trying to. And I really got away from it because it's almost impossible not to bond with people by talking shit about other people. And I find it's not talking shit and being like, don't you hate them? But like, another version of hate, which is like making fun of them or whatever, or being, I don't think I do it as much because I definitely think that period where I was trying not to taught me that some of it's just not that fun. But I think I let it back in my life a little bit. It's kind of fun to make fun of people.
You've been trying to avoid it you've been saying like, I'm trying to avoid it. And it is somewhat poisonous to yourself. But man, it's like, so what? Like,
but people can make fun of me, and if I'm allowing that, then I should be able to make fun of them. You can make fun of me. You can talk shit about me. Any comedians that want to like pull up my stuff and go like, look how cringe this is, just have at it, because I want to do it to you too. Is that okay? Is that a fair exchange?
I think
if
it's
I offer
100
up myself to be mocked behind my back mercilessly.
I think it's a fair exchange. Yeah. And I think, you know what? You can't control it anyway. So you might as well. It's like people believe that if they don't talk shit, they're like spreading joy and happiness in the world. And that's going to make a difference. And it really doesn't, other than the fact
it
that
does.
It's not going to, like, you're not starting a movement by not talking shit about other people.
I think it can't. It's a little. No, because I was actually inspired by my friend who I was trying to talk shit about someone around, and he was like, I just really am not like into talking about people that like talking, making fun of people behind their backs. And it would like shocked me. And that was the first time I was like, maybe I should do that. So I do think it does affect change, but I know what you're saying. Like in the scheme of things, just you can't control it. So, but I just don't know, like, if it's just not good for your bottom line to be sending out like negative energy. I should just much more be always thinking positive. Like this documentary I watched over the weekend about the boy in Harry Potter who was Harry Potter's stunt double, that I didn't get to the story the other day, I don't think. He was paralyzed from the waist down. Or maybe I did say this. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but because I've been telling people the story because I was so inspired by it. He was on the set of Harry Potter. They were planning for the 7th final Harry Potter movie, and he had been Harry's stunt double the whole time for 6 movies. 7th, they're in pre-production. He does a stunt. Things go wrong. He gets paralyzed.
Wow.
And he was like, he's really good friends with Daniel Radcliffe, and this is a documentary called The Boy Who Lived on HBO. I think, or
Wow.
Max.
What a great
It's really
title.
good. But once he gets paralyzed, and he was such an active person. I mean, he was a stunt man. He was like a stunt kid. Like his whole life was doing stunt work and like moving around, and then suddenly he's paralyzed. He said he was allergic to negativity. He was like, I don't let any in. He was like, literally, if there's a negative vibe or someone has some negative, he was like, I have to get away from it, because it's just like, because he knows the poison of it, especially for someone like in his position where like he can't distract himself if a negative thought comes in. Like he has to avoid it like an alcoholic would avoid drinking alcohol.
Yeah. But that's kind of unhealthy too, to be like, I can't even be around negativity. And it's also kind of like, well, sometimes negative things happen and you have to like accept that and acknowledge that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm just saying like stuff that doesn't need, when you don't need it, when someone just has bad energy, getting them out, like, yes, you'd have to.
It's good. It's a bad look. It's a bad look also. Like, if you're like doing it all the time and people are like, I don't know, what's the deal with this person? Like, why are they like this? But like every once in a while, you do drugs, and it's like, talking
you
shit,
gotta do your drugs.
spending a night talking shit about everybody is like, what's the difference between that and doing coke
instead of 1 or 4 or 5? Sometimes you just gotta lean into being a little bit bad. I love being bad.
Yeah.
What did I say the other day? I was like, I had to do this thing and someone goes, why do you do that? And I go, because I don't shoplift anymore, and this is where I get that.
Yeah.
I know what it was. It was like I was talking about. Rachel Feinstein and I were talking about being ADD and how we won't screw the lids on things fully, even though we are mid-screw and we could. We just don't, because we almost want to like fuck with ourselves. Like we almost want to like, we don't deserve a full screwed on lid, or like there's some kind of challenge in like, okay, yeah, if I hit that, it's going to go everywhere, but I'm not going to hit it. I'm going to actually give myself a like, I've
noticed this actually on like a Diet Coke bottle. You won't screw it on, and I look at it and I'm like, oh my God. What's gonna happen?
I do it all the time. I do it. I won't zip things. I won't close drawers. I won't close cabinets. I won't.
Yes.
And it's really, and I really could. And there are times where I just go, no.
Is it the adrenaline rush?
I think
or
it's
the punishment.
With this, I don't want to give away what I said is the shoplifting thing, because there's this other really gross thing that I do where I like test the limits of like almost dying, like just doing something really weird. And it really is because I'm just like, I need to feel the adrenaline of the risk. But I think the lid thing is maybe not the same. That I feel like is a low self-esteem thing where it's like, I don't deserve to have nice things. So like I have this really nice cream that I should like wipe it off and make it look nice. But like I'm embarrassed I even have this, and I shouldn't have this. And so I got to make it look like shit because I'm a fraud. And like, I don't like I think that I have this, I've talked about it on the podcast years ago, but like, I feel like everything I owned is stained somehow. Like nothing I get ever doesn't get like have some kind of defect in it. Mm-hmm. Which is, it's dumb because I will find everything has some kind of is different. Even if things are perfectly made to be different, there's going to be defects. And I'll always find that. And I'll always think it's a reason why I'm less than. Have you ever done that? Does that?
No, because I'm the opposite of that. I'm a perfectionist, and everything needs to be like perfect around me. And any sort of error or miscalculation or something like that needs to be corrected instantaneously, or else I feel probably how you feel when it's perfect.
Okay, yeah. But I am a perfectionist when it comes to like my performance, or like when I'm trying, it needs to be perfect. And I think that's why I don't try, because if I even tried, I know that cleaning this bathroom to make it perfect would be so much work. So don't give anything. Yeah. Because now you're not failing yourself. You're just not like, you're not a failure. You just don't care.
Right. Well, that's why you're a 3, and you supposedly, I still think there's a 7 in there, but you're a 3 because you care when other people are watching you. Like if someone was if someone was filming you do your bathroom routine, I bet you'd screw all the lids on perfectly.
No, it depends on what I was trying to capture. If I was trying to be like, do a product review, yeah, I would try to make the product look nice. But if it was at this point in my life, I'm like, I kind of am comfortable with who I am on camera. But if a guy that I liked
Yes.
That I was trying to like seduce someone
Yes.
or like have, if Jennifer Aniston was watching a video of me, like someone who I wanted them to think I was a clean, neat person.
Yeah.
The general public, I think they kind of know who I am now, or at least I'm not interested in like convincing them I'm otherwise. But yeah, I think you're right. When I know I'm being watched, I probably, if I'm on a date, I'm chewing with my mouth closed.
Yep.
And I just, the fact that I don't know if I chew with my mouth closed is not a good sign that I do. So I don't think I do normally. Like, I think I'm a pretty gross eater, but I'm also like, I hope I don't offend anyone with my eating. But if someone is like, wow, Nikki's, it doesn't affect, like, I'm not a bad person because I'm a gross eater. I don't think.
No, I mean, what does that make
Unless
you
I
a
was
bad
doing
person?
it being like, I don't care if you're offended. Like, that would be weird.
Like if you're in a work meeting and you have a bunch of subordinates surrounding you and you're just like spitting lettuce out into the table and stuff like that, I think that would be a bad person move to do because no one can do anything about it. It's just like, God, these meetings are excruciating. Nikki's just spitting lettuce at us for an hour.
No, I really try to be I think most of the time I'm pretty like trying not to ever cause a stir or like be an inconvenience to other people in public. Mm-hmm. I think that's just, you know, even when I'm with people and they like quietly pay something on their phone, they're showing me something like of someone I'm with. Yeah. I'm like horrified if it's ever above a volume that a person nearby could hear.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how to make sense of that because that's like politeness and you actually caring about other people, like other people's thoughts about you, but then also you don't care if you
I care
leave
about
the thing
them.
unscrewed.
Because I would fucking hate to listen to the volume. Like, I'm not caring about them being like, when I'm keeping my volume low, I'm not like, wow, they're gonna think I'm a good person. They're gonna like approve of me. It's so that they won't be like in hell listening to someone's like speakerphone out of context. Now, let me say this. This proves my point. Now, if I'm in an Uber and I'm on a phone call or something. Or let's say I'm having a conversation in the back seat and I'm like, we're talking too loud and we're kind of being annoying, like the volume, and I'm guessing the driver doesn't like it. If the conversation is juicy, I keep it going because I know that now I've made something that would otherwise be annoying pretty, like at least I'm giving them a show.
Yeah,
now,
it's like a podcast.
Yeah. And if I was listening to something on my phone that I thought might annoy people, if it was something that was very clearly funny, I can't even think of an example of what that would be. Maybe that girl singing the national anthem in which there would be context for them. I would play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh yeah, that poor girl. Well, have fun in rehab. I want to do something so embarrassing and then just go, I have to go to rehab.
How many times do you think you could do it? How many mistakes in life can you make where you can say, gonna go to rehab?
I think you can keep going. I mean, if you're a true addict, addicts just be addicting, you know? They will repeatedly
But at a certain point, the public will tire of you going or making a mistake and going to rehab.
The public doesn't give a fuck about you. Can't ever count on the public. No, you get one shot with the public, maybe.
One shot.
You get one redemption. And it's hilarious that we didn't know who this girl was and we're already redeeming her. But it is an interesting move because you cannot make fun of someone who is claiming to be an addict. It's a perfect out. And it makes all us look like assholes.
Yeah. And hey, as Joe Biden says, everyone's has a bad night sometimes. Yeah. Everyone's has a bad night.
Was that
sometimes.
his one bad night of his life?
That was the one, yeah.
Yeah, we all have a bad night. I mean, I will say, not to speak of the debate, but I think that, I don't really let myself have bad nights, but they do happen. The other night, I got off stage early.
Whoa.
Because I did 2 shows. And the thing about 2 show nights is that you would think that you could differentiate the 2 shows. But because I do just such a mishmash of material and no show is ever the same, I like forget if I've told the joke already in that show.
Oh, yeah.
Or the show before. When it gets to around the 30-minute mark, I just start going like, whoa, the show is just one big show now. And now am I going to be repeating material? So now I have to just do stuff I haven't even done tonight. But then that's a challenge because now it's just like, so anyway, I'm well into the second show. This is in Columbus. If you're at the Columbus second show, I gave you a shorter show than you deserve, but I didn't know that I was. And I had so much more material to do, but I was given like a very definitive, like if we keep the lights on past this minute, you have to spend $2,500. Like there was a talking to beforehand. No, it was it was a theater, but they had really strict union rules, and so it was going to be $2,500 if I went past this 1 minute. And I thought the minute was approaching within 3 minutes. So I just,
Wow.
instead of going into another bit, I just was like, I'll just get off now. And that was like the right thing to do. But it wasn't, because I was supposed to be lit at that time. So I really had 13 minutes to play with, or maybe more, 23. Like I got off at 42 minutes, which is 45. Unheard of for me. Unheard of. But I will say no one complained.
No.
It's a great amount of time. It was a late show. It was a 9:30 show, probably started at 10. People were dying to get out of there. So it didn't bother anyone. I did all my stuff that I wanted to do. I wasn't like, harboring something that I was like, oh, I guess they're not going to get this joke. But if you were at that show and you want to go to a show of mine for free at some point, just tell me what show you want to go to, and then like show your ticket, like screenshot your ticket and DM it to me, and I'll like give you a free, not meet and greet, but a free ticket to any show you want to.
Well, that's
because
very
I
nice
feel
of you.
bad.
I mean,
But I don't think there's gonna
45
be that
minutes,
many.
I think, is actually pretty typical for a lot of headliners.
I know it is. It is.
Yeah.
That there's nothing wrong about doing it. No one was upset, and no one even wrote anything afterwards. But to me, I was like, oh no, and I like really couldn't shake it. And then I was just like, nope. You're not gonna let this ruin your night. Like, you just did 2 shows. You had a crazy week of work. You should just be able to eat your pizza and celebrate, and not like be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did 45, which I did do. I told Emil and Matt, and I was like, just let me, because they were like, it's fine. I go, I know it's fine. I just need to beat myself up for 3 more minutes. That's it. And then I won't say, then I will literally forgive myself. And then I did. And then after that 3 minutes, I was just like, I'm done. And I'm like, you didn't mean to. You are going to make it right on your podcast and tell those people that you will refund them, or not refund them, but give them another free ticket. And also, who gives a fuck in the scheme of things? Like, it's okay. Forgive yourself. So I was just like, I let myself off the hook, and I ate my pizza, and I had a good night. We'll be right back after this. All right, we're back. Brian, what's been happening in your world?
My
Catch us
world.
up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 1 month away from having no gallbladder, and so far so good. If anyone was wondering.
Oh, I was like, I thought you were like, in 1 month it'll totally disintegrate. I'm like, did they put some kind of acid into it that it's like going
So what
away?
they
Okay,
do
so
is
you're
you
1 month
drink
out.
an acid, and it goes right into your gallbladder, and over the course of a month, it starts to disintegrate 10% at a time.
What's life like without a gallbladder? Like, is there a difference?
Not
Besides
really.
You're not getting crazy pain anymore.
Well, yeah, I'm not having horrible attacks and my fear of eating. I've been eating some fatty foods. I've been eating, chicken parm and stuff like that, and I'm like totally fine. So I feel great. If anybody is thinking about getting their gallbladder removed, even if it's just to lose weight, I think I highly recommend it. It's amazing.
To lose weight? Really?
Yeah, you can lose. What is it? 3 ounces by taking that thing out.
Like the weight of the gallbladder. 'Cause
Yeah,
don't
especially
even
if it's
joke
filled.
about that, dude. People will be like, "What? I can lose
Yeah.
weight by taking out an organ?"
I also have been losing weight ever since I did it, like on purpose. I've been like dieting and stuff like that. I'm
Because
trying
you can't
to
work
eat.
out.
I want to be the healthiest I've ever been.
Great.
My goal for the rest of the year is I want to be the healthiest I've ever been. I was telling you about this in the car. I've discovered this like rich person thing called health spas that I had no idea existed. And I went to a health spa. Basically, if you ever go to the doctor and you're like, I want to know if I have like the proper vitamin B levels. I want to test my blood to see if I have this like genetic predisposition to whatever disease, Alzheimer's or something like that. Your doctor won't do it for you.
Yeah.
They'll say there's no reason to do it. You're not even if you wanted like a colonoscopy, they'll be like, we can't do it. It's not appropriate. But if you're rich, you can do whatever you want. And so there are these places called health spas where you just go in there and you say, I want to get my blood tested for all micronutrients. I want to get a full genetic profile. And they're like, give me money and I'll do it for you. And so I went to this health spa and I got a full micronutrient blood profile.
How much is that?
That was $699.
And then do you have a membership fee as well to join to this spa?
No, but you can become a member if you want to, or you can do a la carte.
So you did a la carte, $6.99.
Yeah, $6.99. And I'm
Are
kind
you
of like
just
a
like
hypochondriac.
salivating in here? Are you like a fucking like
I'll say-
housewife in a
Yeah, I say this all the
store?
time. Like, I don't spend money on clothes or watches or technology or anything like that. I will spend all my money on health stuff. So
Yeah.
this to me is like the equivalent of going into like a Chanel store if you're like a housewife.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I didn't even, because you were telling me about it. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll check it out. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. I'm not really interested in finding like. I guess if something was wrong, I guess you feel sick, so you want to find answers.
Sure.
Whereas I don't feel sick.
That's true, but
Physically.
also it's the difference between screwing that cap closed and leaving it open. I just want every number to be correct.
Right.
And
You
that's
wanna just
impossible,
know,
and it
check
won't actually happen. Yeah, but
Right.
I'll never leave that cap unscrewed. I will run through a war field to screw that cap closed.
And I'll address the lotion spilling out when it spills. I'm not gonna like prematurely cap it in.
That's right. But that being said, you should get your standard screenings.
I know I should.
If you want to have that analogy be truly like, you should get. Don't wait for the cream to squirt out of the cap or whatever. You do for some things.
Oh God, I know. I was just reading a book actually about. It wasn't about it, but it's fiction. It's Miranda July. It's called On All Fours, and it's about this woman going through perimenopause, which is the next thing in my life that will happen probably 45, I think. Like, so in the next 5 years, but it can happen even earlier. And it's just so fucked, man. And I heard Naomi Watts talking about it, menopause, on something. And she said that it's so interesting that we give so much compassion to like young girls who and young boys who are going through puberty. But like women who go through this gigantic hormonal shift, it's just like no one talks about it. It's just only shameful. Not that we really talk about puberty. Puberty is also very shameful. But there's at least like people know that teenage girls are crazy and emotional. And like then women in their 50s, it's just like, oh, but you know, this is cute when we're about to want to fuck you, but right now no one wants to this is just you're annoying.
That's
but
the life
I'm not
of a
looking forward to
woman.
that change.
You have puberty, and then you have periods, which everybody makes fun of too. Like every stand-up comedian in the world has made a joke about periods. And then you go through menopause, which also a lot of comedians make fun of. But I wonder if that post-menopausal life is good. How's that?
That's what I've heard. Yeah, there were some positives that came out of the book talking about it, but where it's kind of the thing that I talk about in my special, where you just give up and you just stop caring what everyone thinks, and you can kind of just do what you want because you don't suffer fools anymore. I think a lack of suffering fools is one of the the best parts of going through menopause. But it seems pretty rough, and I mean I'm already, that could explain even my mood swings now. Like I could be in it now. Who the fuck even knows?
That's the most fucked up thing about like birth control and stuff that men, I really don't think truly grasp, that you have to take a pill or whatever you do every day, and it like really fucks with you in ways that you don't understand. Like a man doesn't understand.
I thank God I'm not on it, but I probably should be. Like my hormones are totally out of line, and all my friends are on some kind of cream. Yeah. And I've had to like rub creams on my thighs, like just hormone cream. Like it's coming for you girls. If you're not there yet, it's a coming.
Yeah.
Where you're going to have to like balance your hormones so you even want to do anything the way you ever wanted to do it. If you want to even remember or have like a little inkling of what your former self used to be like.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that. But you got to do it. And that's the thing about going to this health spa. Like, oh God, that stresses me out. Like you're going in there like, yes.
Oh my God, yes. When I saw that list of things you could buy, I was like, I'm so happy I found out this existed. I had no idea.
Are
I'm
you
sitting
nervous to get bad results?
Well, I got my results back for the micronutrients.
Okay.
And now I made a mistake. I got the blood test 2 weeks after I got my gallbladder out, which is like the dumbest thing you could possibly do.
Because your body's like still figuring out what to do with everything.
I've been popping pills, taking Pepsid.
right. That's
I've been
right.
eating saltine crackers, exclusively saltine crackers for 2 months.
Okay,
and I
so
get
your
my blood
levels
test
were-
for nutrients. What was I thinking? $699. But I get the results back, and they were mostly good.
Oh.
So even with there was a few things that were low. My selenium is low. A couple of amino acids were low. But I know you got to get those aminos. but for someone who was like in the worst possible state you could possibly be in, you just got laparoscopic surgery and organ removed, and you've been eating exclusively saltine crackers for 2 months for my nutrients to be good.
Why saltines?
Because they're low fat. I had to eat a low fat diet in order to avoid attacks.
Got it.
I was
There's
eating
other things that are
saltines.
low fat, by the way.
I couldn't
There's,
think
like,
of anything.
almost-
I kept trying
What?
to think. I kept brainstorming and all.
You just walk through the aisles and you look at any packaging that's green.
I didn't think of that.
That was like the 90s color of no fat, low fat. Okay.
No, I could eat fruits and stuff like that, like a
yeah.
banana and, you know.
All right. But you're relatively healthy. So what's the next test you're going to get to prove to yourself that there's something wrong with you?
So, yeah, so
That's what
2
you want.
months,
Isn't that how
a
you
month
win?
from now, which will be 2 months away from getting the gallbladder out, I will do the micronutrient test again because I think my results will be even better.
Final thought. Wait, you're going to go back and have the same exact test. What do you want? What do you want to get out of this? Do you just get this test every 6 months to keep proving to yourself? Or are you going to add more tests? Is it going to get boring if you stabilize? How are you going to achieve this new healthy Brian? Like, what's really going to change in your life?
Well, it's diet. You know, I have been eating very well ever since I got the surgery, and my smoothie. You know, like if I was low on vitamin B, for example, like if it
You
came
already
back
ate
and
very well. What are you not eating now that was like such a problem before?
I don't know. I thought
Sucking
that's what
on a big Kit Kat bar?
Yeah. So I mean, I'll go
Lenny
back
and
to doing
Larry's
that.
cookie? Can you get one of those still?
I haven't eaten one since
No
the
refined
surgery.
sugars?
No, I'm
Like,
not
if you're
going to do
really
any
trying
of
to
that.
get the healthiest ever, like you got to get rid of sugar, you got to get rid of wheat, you got to
Yeah,
get rid of.
nah, I'm not doing any of that. But
Okay,
like,
so you're not-
if the results came back and said you're low with vitamin B, which is a common low vitamin
Yes.
thing, and people feel tired and stuff, then I would start taking a multivitamin or a vitamin B injection from the health spa. I'm surprised they don't lie and tell you have all these problems so they can inject you with things for
So
money.
you're just taking a selenium supplement right now?
I believe I can raise my selenium on my own. I mean, I know it sounds hard, but I just got to eat my selenium. I
gotta
don't
go
even know
to
where
one
to
of these
get
health
it.
spas. I don't even know what to get checked though.
Well, you know what your regular screenings need to be, right?
Tits,
Yep.
ass, pussy.
That's right. Dentist.
What? Dentist. Yeah, dentist. I'm
You're good
I'm all
on.
about the dentist.
And there's one more that you're forgetting that people completely ignore. It's insane.
eyes.
But well, yeah, I guess
Ears.
once ears, you don't. No one really checks the ears
Nose,
until you start
throat,
losing hearing. No,
Lips, blood.
No.
What?
Your skin. You need to go to a dermatologist once a year to get a check.
Skin.
You need to
yeah,
get everything
I'm having that
checked.
removed. That's the organ I want to get rid of. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm really
Yeah.
resentful of dermatologists at this point, though, because I went in to have a thing checked, and she was just like, "No, that's nothing," and then charges me hundreds of dollars just
Yeah.
to go, "No, that's nothing."
Yeah.
That's like
But
your
isn't
little
that-
test you just got.
Yeah.
You wanted to see some. You wanted to hear some action.
I mean, no, I'm happy that it was. I mean, I did get some action. That
So
selenium
the
thing.
dermatologist
that'll
is
keep me going
supposed to
for
look
weeks.
over your whole naked body to look for any kind of suspicious activity.
Exactly, and then
But what
just
if I
note.
feel like I look at my whole body? There's no moles that are changing or moving or.
There might be places that you don't see, like
looking into
on your
apartments
butt
and-
or something like that.
Amsterdam.
Like there might be like, oh look, there's one right in the middle of your back that you never saw.
So
And
they're
there it
getting in
is.
your butt crack to look. They're gonna look in my butt crack.
They'll look in your scalp. They'll look.
Okay, fine. I could do that.
They'll. I mean, it's good. I mean, if you don't have literally a single mole on your body, then I guess you don't
have a
have to
couple.
go. But it's good to get in the habit of going and just getting looked over
Yeah,
once a year.
I don't know why I'm fighting it. I don't know why I'm fighting it. I'm getting my new car today, I think, and I figured out a
yeah.
way to get it where it's like I'm leasing it, and Chris
Mm-hmm.
has worked it out so like I don't have to go to the dealership, and they're just
yeah,
dropping
you can
it
get
off
a
to me.
dealer. Yeah.
And they just are letting me sign a thing. It's heaven. This is
Yeah.
what I've wanted for so long. I hate sitting at the delership and having to like sit there and talk while they fax people.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's like
I almost feel
Carvana.
like-
Doesn't Carvana do that?
I feel like I've died and gone there. No, I think they do, but I think they but then you get a car and it could be stinky.
Uh-huh.
Because I saw a car that I loved in the showroom at this place, and I was like, "Look at this puppy!" It was like the number one car. Like I'm looking in the windows, and I'm like, "I love it! Oh my god, it's used
Yeah.
too, and it's like lightly used, perfect. Get
Yeah.
in. It smells so much like cigarette smoke,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
like can't get it out.
But
And
this
if that
car's a
would've been
lease and
delivered
it's
to me-
new,
It's brand new, yeah.
so you're not going to worry about anything. You just get
I
it
don't have to
delivered.
run anything. I
Yeah.
will say that it's a white interior, and that
Wow.
is dicey for me with all my spray tans and,
And you
dog
leave every
and makeup.
cap unscrewed half the way.
And
so.
the unscrewed caps, you're
Yeah.
not joking. But you know what? The white makes me feel cooler. it makes me feel like it's the person I want to be, and I
Yeah.
felt the coolest in it, and I like the black exterior. And the
Yeah.
other one was a white exterior with a black interior. And I was like, I don't want to like err on the side of like, but you're too dirty to have a nice thing. So in the end, this all comes around and I actually am getting the thing that I'm not going to mess up the thing that I think it's too nice for me to have. I'm actually going to keep it nice. And I got the nicest version to like, and I have to get it detailed quite often. So I'm going to learn to treat it nice, even though I'm leasing it. It's not really mine. So I don't
Right,
care.
exactly. That's the way to think about it is you're taking care of someone else's car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
for 3
That's
years.
good. I'm so much better if it's someone else's. I would be.
That will
horrified
be
to think-
someone else's car in 3 years.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really nice way to think about it. I'm gonna go drive someone else's car right now, I think. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I'll see you in Vegas this week. People who are coming to see me and David Spade at the Venetian in Vegas next weekend, and then we have shows. I think I'm off the next weekend, and then shows. So many tour dates. NikkiGlaser.com. You know where to find them. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. We love you so much. Don't be good, and bye.